This is Drew with thepodcastingstore.com, your one-stop shop for all things podcasting and remote learning.
All right, so we are here with Jennifer Durrett, Dr. Jennifer Durrett, and who is an expert in video and video production because that is her educational area of expertise. And so I've completely ambushed her for this video, and she's so graciously agreed to sit there because she's jet lagged. And what I wanted to discuss was her thoughts on the setup that we have here and its intended uses for people who do not have a doctorate in video and video production, and how they can use this to create video content that people want to see, and that it's engaging and it looks good and it sounds good and it's really not that hard to use. So Jennifer, how does this compare to what you use?
This is far simpler than what I'm used to working with on a day-to-day basis, but that being said, the purpose of the sort of equipment I'm used to dealing with is very, very different than the purpose of this setup here. This is much more for someone who, out of their own home or small studio, would want to be able to produce easy but high-quality audiovisual content. And I think what you've got set up here would do the job very nicely. Because, I mean, it's the more and more that technology develops, the easier it gets to do things well. But when it comes down to it, you have to A, know what you're doing, but B, have the right equipment to do it. And at the end of the day, what makes something good versus not good is going to be that production value. And the mic setup here, the mixer setup, we're mixing this on OBS, which is fantastic, also used in the professional industry, but is completely free, user-friendly, an excellent thing to get started on. You plug that in with a good set of mics, decent set of cameras. I mean, we're using what? This rig's got 3 smartphones?
Yeah, we've got 2 iPhones and an Android, and that's it. I know one of the things that you solve with what you do is cameras and visual, and the approach I've taken with it is to, frankly, ignore that problem, because for the intended use that we have, this is either good enough or even better than what people would normally use, which would probably be the built-in camera on their computer.
Yeah.
So doing something like a Zoom call or creating content that way. And so my goal with approaching it this way is to show people how they can unlock the power that's already in their pocket with the phone that they already own, and then add on some quality sound with that, and then use some free software and make something worth watching.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really strategic approach, because quite frankly, the cameras on smartphone these days are absolutely fantastic. There are entire film festivals, and have been for several years, just for content shot on smartphones. And every new phone that comes out, the camera, I mean, arguably they're a better camera than they are a phone at this point in some cases.
Yeah, there is that.
But that being said, the microphones attached to the phone are definitely not at the same level that the cameras are. And, even doing more higher-end audiovisual content, the running joke in the industry is 51+% of the story is still audio. You can have the most beautiful visuals in the world, and if the sound isn't good, the piece isn't good. Mm-hmm. You have to have good sound. It's one of those things where people only realize you only notice sound when the sound's gone wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't notice it, and this is... Yeah,
it's like air. You don't realize you don't have it until you're suffocating.
Exactly. No, so this seems very practical, very straightforward, easy to set up, easy to get started with, and have the ability to produce something of a very high quality without, an entire college degree.
I'm not belittling education. I think it's fantastic. I've learned a lot from you, actually. But the other thing that I like to stress with this setup is that it's portable and you don't have to have a dedicated space for it.
Yeah, no, you could put this on your kitchen table. You could put this on...
We're at a booth at a conference.
We are.
There's a ton of ambient noise. The mics are doing their job, canceling as much of that as they possibly can. But the bottom line is, we've got the PodTrack P4. We're using that as an interface and a mixer. And we've got it plugged in, but that can go battery operated as well. We could be anywhere doing this and do it exactly like we are.
Yeah, incredibly portable, which again makes your life that much easier. You know what it reminds me a bit of too is a lot of the practical solutions that educators have had to come up with in terms of online teaching that unfortunately we've all had to do for the last year and a half plus.
You as an educator have had to scramble and do that.
Yeah.
I think you had a bit of a head start understanding production like you do. But you're in the same boat as everyone else. Yeah,
and just those little extra things to have a slightly nicer webcam or use your phone camera, because there are ways, to feed that in. Or if we were coordinating our students because they need to do collaborative video production projects to ask people to be doing remote interviews. And what would normally ask the kids to do is, of course, they're going to have those interviews over Zoom, but then they would ask their contributors to set up their phone camera next to their computer so that they could have backup footage of a higher quality. And then again, just a slightly nicer mic plugged into that. And suddenly the production value of what you're creating has gotten that much higher, really just by plugging in a microphone. So it a lot of improvement in quality for a basically very minimal effort.
Yeah. Well, I know you hadn't seen this rig yet, so I wanted to get your truly expert opinion on what's going right with it and what direction that we're going in. So, Jennifer, thank you so much for agreeing to be ambushed into an interview, and
My pleasure.
Appreciate the time and the expertise.
Of course. Good luck, and this is awesome. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you're facing a unique problem with podcasting or remote learning, we can help. Reach out to us at thepodcastingstore.com and we'll see what solutions we can find for you. And if you like what you hear, do me a favor and tell a friend. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and sign up for our e-newsletter, and you'll never miss another podcast or video again. This is Drew with thepodcastingstore.com. Thank you for listening.